The role of education cannot be overstated to protect human rights in the context of climate change. States, educational and research institutions, and non-governmental organizations should all prioritize integrating climate change and human rights education into school curricula, and this curricula should be co-developed with children, employing hope-based education and focusing on resilience and children participation in climate action, in accordance with the general comment on children's human rights in relation to a healthy environment with a focus on climate change of the Committee on the Rights of the Child. In particular, we need to consider that climate literacy is surprisingly low in certain regions, and it's essential to connect education, the right to education, with the right of access to information on climate change and human rights, which was discussed in my report to the UN General Assembly last year in 2024. States must incorporate quality, trustworthy, and evidence-based information on climate change and human rights into educational curricula at all levels, with additional measures to fulfill children's rights of access to information while preventing and responding to eco-anxiety and other mental health impacts of climate change on children. States should also ensure and share accurate, reliable, and age-appropriate information and education that is accessible according to different stages of children's development about the causes of climate change and its effects, about the most effective climate measures, about adaptive responses and relevant legislation, policies, and plans, findings from any environmental impact assessments, strategic environmental assessments, and other human rights assessments that can inform choices about sustainable lifestyles and support the consideration of children's views in the outcomes of climate-related consultations and complaints procedures. Bringing together all this evidence to ensure protection of human rights in the context of climate change should also be supported by states, including through funding, in accordance with data gathering on the impacts of on children's health and development at different ages, with particular attention to children in vulnerable situations. And once again, ideally, this should be done with children, not only for children. Even when information is available on human rights and climate change, we also need to consider barriers related to lack of connectivity and poverty as child-specific limitations, and also look into gender barriers. States must ensure that women and girls have equal access to information and scientific research and education on climate change and human rights, including about enduring disasters. I look forward to hearing how your conversations went today and staying engaged in advancing this important topic.